Discovery, go and throttle up.
Hey, Space and Rocket Review. You to chat. Tell your friends. Space and Rocket Review. What's going on, everybody? Are we psyched for a rocket launch? Because we're going to get one here during this Space and Rocket Review. Everybody ready? If not, we could just, you know, listen to the sounds of Starbase. The sounds of Starbase. Hello, hi, bae, my old friend. We've come to disassemble you again. No? Alright, cool. Sweet. Alright, I'll shut that down. Starbase ASMR to study and relax to. Okay, so what's going on, everybody? How you doing? How's Garage? Already? Alright. Well, here, take a look. Wait for it. Ding! Look at the left bench. Over there. The graduate weather guy. Reference. Left bench is visible. Yep. It's there, dude. There's so much trash. It's pretty clean except for that one table over there. Yep. Yep. Hanga-danga-durgan. We could see a table where boxes were yesterday. It's definitely neater. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely neater. Did you build a cardboard fort for Titan? No. You've been working hard and it shows. Dude, this... Yes. Yeah, it's, Flavia, I usually follow on YouTube. Today I betrayed YouTube and came to Twitch. How are you? I'm good, I'm good. Is that an Ender? This is a destroyed, basically a broken Ender 3. I gotta take it apart. And, yeah, I'm gonna take it apart and put it back in its box for now. Did you get a dumpster? No. The pickup bed of the 59 is where I'm putting all the trash. It's really hard to tell. There's like 4 full trash bags in there. And guys, I want to make this very clear. It's trash. I separated it out, cardboard, recyclables, and, you know, straight trash. It's not like, oh, this is an old part that doesn't work anymore. I'm going to throw it away. It's just trash. One of them is full of beer cans, dude. Like, full of beer cans. These are contracting bags. They're big trash bags. So, broken Ender 3. That's the natural state of an Ender 3. A power surge, unfortunately, took that one out when we still were in the apartment. Yeah, one of them is full of cans. There's another one that's full of bottles. There's another one's full of cardboard. There's like 3 or 4 that are just full of straight trash. I found a 3D printable interior vents for the OBS if you want them at some point. I actually have 4 good vents in my truck, Sawyer. I got 4 good vents. I went to the junkyard and basically went to town. I did that a little while back. Brimo wanted to see what that whole junkyard thing was all about. So we went to the junkyard and I got new sun visors. New sun visors for the 97, 4 good vents. Yeah, I almost have a complete dash. The only thing I'm really missing is the ashtray. But I took the ashtray out. Well, it didn't have one to begin with. There's an inverter in its place that's hooked up to the cigarette lighter. Yeah, I have an inverter there in its place. That uses exhaust hanger that's self-tap to the dash. We needed power. Fix the cigarette lighter. Yep. Did you want to return to the junkyard after your visit? Yes and no. Hey, Flavia, 4-month resub. I'm just a baby subscriber, like the baby boosters. Yeah. Yeah, that freaking alert is not going through. It's not on the stream. It's not on the Steamlabs side of things, guys. It's something with Twitch. Twitch isn't popping that alerter through, and I don't know what's different. I don't know. Either way, Moist Pineapple Pizza had a 73-monther in there. I have that Space News already, Phil. Software update. I don't know. SVO gifted a sub to detention. But nothing. Nothing. Here, try. Can somebody hit the resub button just to see if it pops up here? This is where I did the updated alerter just to see if it was working. SVO gifted another sub to Count Starhemberg. Nope. Nope. Broken. I don't know what that's about, dudes. Yeah, that was one that I manually pushed through from a couple hours ago. That was from the Electron stream before. And I'll push through. I could push through Wolian's 4-month resub from yesterday's Space News.
Discovery, go at
Why did it do that twice? SVO gifted another sub to PKY. Phil with an 89-month resub. Test. SVO gifted 2 more. Sharktails Gaming and Nibelung. Thank you. I hope you're going to go over the good news of Artemis 2 later today. What's the new news? The stack? It's because I'm twice as awesome. Oh. Well.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
This is very broken, and I'm very, very sure that this is very much not on my end. Like I said, well, fine, I'm going to do it one more time.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Whatever, I'll do my best for manual callouts. So, speaking of that, this morning, if you missed it, Electron launched what was the name of that mission? It was the Finding Hot Wildfires Near You mission. Electron took to the night sky in New Zealand. I mean, it was daytime for us. But, yeah, and deployed 8 fire detection satellites. We watched the whole mission. It was pretty good. There you go. Oh, it's because Discovery is the best shuttle?
Success for Electron.
Mission success for Electron. Hey, yes, what's going on? So, yeah, there you go. Pretty good. We do have another rocket launch today. There is Starlink 11-7. That's it. Oh. SVO gifted 100 subscriptions to the stream. I would Psycho, I'll cover Alpha's launch in a second. Call them out? Yeah, I'll do it. I'll call out every single one of those gifted subs, but I'll do it, like, in less than a second. Just so I don't waste your time. It's like those pharmaceutical commercials where they talk really, really fast. Here, ready? 1, 2, 3. There you go. Thank you, everybody. And SVO, thank you. Well, Lian, you were only able to see... The only one you were able to see in Germany, STS-133, was your first and only launch and landing I've seen on television. Oh. SVO, do I get a VIP badge now? I actually only give VIP badges to people I don't like. The VIP is like the dunce cap for the stream. If you really want to know, you do not want a VIP. You do not want a VIP in this chat. It's the dunce cap. You get the VIP cone of shame. It's reserved for only the most annoying of viewers. Hey, Max. Yeah, VIP, very idiotic person. Discovery is great for return to flight. My favorite orbiter is Challenger, guys. Because without Challenger, Discovery, Atlantis, Endeavour wouldn't exist. All of their designs are based off of Challenger. That's why it's my favorite. It is the goated shuttle. It is the goated of the goats. Does Geeson have it? I don't think so. We should probably get on that. Should probably get on that. And sorry, Sawyer, Endeavor's just parts. Yeah, damn right, article. Have what? Nothing. Nothing. Bolek, 7-month resub. Thank you. Challenger paved the way to get the other orbiters done. A great piece of winged brick. You know, a lot of people don't know. Here, hold on. People don't know just how much Challenger flew before the end. All right, so check this out, dudes. So Challenger first flew on April 4th, 1983 on STS-6. It deployed Tidris A. Right? Look at some of these turnarounds. Dude, it flew 3 times. April, June, and August. That's pretty good, man. Look at 1984. February, April, October. Right? 3 launches for an orbiter in 1 year at the beginning of the program is insane. That's quite good. Then it flew 3 more times in 85. And they were basically going to ramp up from here. The reason why you have clusters of 3, right? 1, 2, and 3 is because they were rotating orbiters. The eventual idea of what they wanted to do with this thing is you have a fleet of 4 orbiters and, you know, assume turnaround time for an orbiter is around 1 month, right? Launch 1 shuttle a week, right? That makes sense. If the turnaround time, the downtime for the orbiter is about a month, you know, you launch 1 in the first week, 1 in the second week, 1 in the third week, 1 in the fourth week. By the time you get to week 1 for the next month, that first orbiter is ready to go. That was the idea. That's what they wanted to do. Hey, Ghost Rider, 36-month resub. Damn SRBs. Wasn't the SRB's fault. The SRBs were engineered exactly as advertised. It was the frickin' morons controlling the program. Thiokol did everything that they were asked of. They did everything. NASA opted for a 2.0 ring design. They designed a 2.0 ring design. And they said, don't fly it in the cold. And then they flew it in the cold. Cold and windy, if you really want to be technical. But, I mean, just saying. Should have had more shuttles and pads. Dang right. Kelly, 74-month resub. Thank you. Sorry, my alerter's junk. I don't know what's going on with it. Hey, bloke. 80-month resub. 8 metric years. Right. I didn't break nothing, Max. I didn't break nothing. Not just cold, but really, really cold. Yep. That's not how that works. It is now. Are SRBs considered dangerous because Failure of one SRB led to a mission failure. Levin, I don't think that SRBs are inherently dangerous. No, not at all. SRBs have moved more people into space than any other type of liquid fuel or rocket engine. Just not even liquid fuel, right? Just rocket engines in general. Shuttle's moved over 1,000 people into space over its 30-year tenure. SRBs have moved more people into space than any other rocket engine. They say they done did pretty good. They're pretty good, man. R7 Soyuz is flown pretty, I think it's something like 140 times in change, most of the time with 3 people on board. Do the math. Shuttle used to fly with 7. In fact, the shuttle flew with 7 people from STS-5 all the way to STS-134. Every flight had 7 people. That's 129 flights with 7 people on board. Shuttles move more people into space than anything. Wasn't there a plan to make a big Saturn SRB or something? Yeah. Yeah, there was. I may or may not have a picture of that somewhere. Where'd it go? Who stole my picture? I have a novel cosmological idea that could potentially replace dark matter energy. Is there anyone I can talk to about this? That's out of my wheelhouse, homie. I thought I had a picture of it. No, guess not. Maybe it's in miscellaneous pictures. Nah, it's not a miscellaneous. I only got pictures like that. Sorry. What's with the face? You guys want to see what else is in the miscellaneous pictures? Real quick, then we'll get into the news. Real quick, you want to see what else is in the miscellaneous? I drew this a little while ago. Hey, S-Master, you around? Look at that. It looks good, doesn't it? That looks pretty sick, dude. That's all I'm saying. I still think it looks good. Hey, who took that picture? Some guy. SVO, what the hell, dude? 5 more? Sea-Kraken with 5 bits? You drew a puma? No. No. You see those? You see the toe hooks at the front? They look like tusks. What kind of animal has tusks? Dude, if I bought a Cybertruck, that's what I would do. Wow, I just said Cybertruck. Okay. If I purchased a Cybertruck, I would do that. Yep. I know that's taking a lot of the structure out of the back of the endoskeleton, but I don't care. Cyber Walrus. Didn't I tell you to stop making up imaginary animals? And yes, this is Vargon. This is the guy we're talking about. I blanked on the name. That is the Castor 260. 260-inch diameter SRB. Single casing. Also, extremely nice truck, might I add. That's a pretty nice truck. Ask me how I know. Yeah? Oh, my truck drives next to SRBs. What does your truck do? Boom. Boom. I have it in the news, Baron. Don't worry about it. How do you say Cybertruck in Bostonian? Just like that. Cybertruck. Well, where's your SRB then? Why do you think I'm cleaning the shop, Max? What do you think I want to do in here? Just work on cars? What do you guys think of? What do you guys think? We're just cleaning that. We just cleaning that for cars? No, 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 no. What are you doing? No, no, no. Joke's on you. I don't have a truck. Exactly. I don't have an SRB. So there. Sure. ... Mutter. I can't help but notice you're very cynical lately. Very cynical. I don't appreciate it. It's very unbecoming. It's very unmutter-like. Happens with age. Well, unage. Yeah. So, oh yeah, Truthful did a render of it. Of course, Truthful has a render of it. So what that was supposed to be is a single casing SRB to replace the Saturn 1B's first stage. Yours hauls shuttles. Ew. No. 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 Yours does not haul shuttles. The Kometo hauls shuttles. Yours is a cheap parlor trick. Bro. Would you just look at it? Doesn't that look sick? Looks pretty good. See, I even redrew that minivan that was over there. See that? If you were to buy a new car and was forced to choose between a Model 3 or an MX-5 ND, which would you go for? What's the use case? Daily driver? Probably get the Tesla. I'd rather have a tank. Totally pick up chicks in a tank. You can pick up chicks in a tank. It's a crime to replace those F1s. No, 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 no. No F1s replaced. That's a Saturn 1B, not a Saturn 5. It's Saturn 1B. We're talking one of these. Please hold, please hold, please hold. We're talking replacing that, which is quite actually leftover missile parts. I don't know if you guys know this. The Saturn 1B first stage. First of all, some fun facts. It was engineered by Chrysler. Chrysler, the car company. Yes. Pretty cool. Second of all, it's made out of leftover missile parts. Yeah. Or, well, more specifically, the tooling of leftover missile parts. What this is a bunch of Jupiter and Juno, well, actually Redstone and Jupiter fuel tanks wrapped around a Juno fuel tank in the center. Yep. Ever cluster tanks in Kerbal? Oh, they did that in real life. Yep, yep. And it has a bunch of Thor engines at the bottom. Yeah, Thor. So Delta. Yeah, Thor missile. They had a bunch of engines. They were making a bunch of them because they're making a bunch of Thor missiles. So might as well use some. Might as well use the tooling for the missiles. You already made a bunch of those. Might as well use them. That's what that is. It is a bunch of fuel tanks just duct taped together with a bunch of missile engines at the bottom. Yep. Von Braun built this in a cave with some scraps. Anyway. What were the first stage engines? The H1? Yes, Wooly. Mm-hmm. Yep. Can we bring back NASA driving around deuce and a halves, please? Can we renormalize NASA driving around like surplus military equipment? Can we normalize that, please? That's pretty good. Really like seeing a white painted deuce and a half with a NASA logo on it. I'm kind of into it. That's pretty sick. Sadly, no. Humvees flip. They most certainly do not. NASA Edison motor hybrids. Now you're thinking with portals, Sea Kraken. I used H1 engines on your N1 in KSP RSS RP1. You used H1 engines on an N1, Yuri? How many? Anyway, that's a lot. How did you do that? Many. Yeah, you need a lot of those to replace NK-15s. Anyway, there was a little bit of news that let's jump into it. So we already covered the Rocket Lab finding hot wildfires in your area launch. Now let's get to this. This bit of news I did not get to yesterday. So, a little bit of an update here. So Jeff Faust posted this yesterday. The House Science Committee Space Subcommittee will hold a hearing on NASA's Commercial Lunar Payload Services Program. Well, that works.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Next Tuesday, April 1st.
If two wrongs don't make a right, what do two rights make? An airplane.
With the CEOs of Astrobotic, Firefly, and Intuitive Machines among those scheduled to testify. We'll probably watch that. Do you know Russian? Ndoga? A little bit? Why do you ask? Hi, my Discord message said it's a coin which has metal from the SPAC shuttle. Yeah, I saw that already. It went through yesterday, dude. I'll give it another horns because that's pretty sick. So, Levin, full disclosure, I can read Russian. I can't speak it. I can read it, though. I mean, once upon a time, during our space news segments, I used to have a whole segment dedicated to the Russian space program. We used to spend probably about an hour just because Roscosmos was frankly had really good updates, and you could see everything. You could see them put Soyuz together and whatnot. They were pretty straight. They're pretty cool. Pretty good updates. That stopped in 2022. I stopped doing that. So, you know, but that segment, we did a Russian space news segment basically for like 5 years. You just kind of pick things up over time. Spoiled? You're spoiling all the news. I bet H1N1 flew real well. I mean, if you want to buy... The Tesla's probably going to be better for what you're trying to do. A new Miata is just going to be like the BMW that you have. The Highway 4 is just going to tool on it all day. They are still on the ISS with them, so that's something. RJ, to be 100% real, I didn't ever want to stop doing Russian space news. I just could not discuss Russian space news without somebody going schizoid in the chat and being very disruptive. It's really annoying. Yeah, it's really annoying and doesn't contribute to a good discussion. I'm pretty sure that it'd still happen. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that would still happen. Yeah, you have to be, dude. I don't know what this is about, but I've noticed that people come in and then they participate in a conversation, and they participate in it just enough to try and change the subject to what they want to talk about. Yeah, people do that all this, like, nowadays, especially if I'm talking about something that they don't like. Yeah. It's, don't think I don't notice that. Does Roscosmos still scream? Ish, they do. Yeah, of course. We cover them whenever there's a NASA astronaut on board. Johnny Kim should be launching on the next Soyuz very soon. He's training at GCTC right now. Gagarin Cosmonaut Training Center. Pete, Peter, you're trying to do better. I'm not necessarily talking about you, dude. I understand you got to let it out, dude. Just don't Don't get too spicy on me, homie, okay? It's all good. Don't worry about it. What's the problem with a really good pasta? Alright, that's fair. I'd love it more if you talked more about different older missions. I'm sure you learned from it, like reading about each shuttle mission or something. Starbase Live, big piece of high bay being removed. You could say that. That is a quite large piece of high bay. Gotta plug the Jocko podcast every time Johnny Kim gets mentioned. You know, I'm not too much of the self-help type, but I will say that Jocko's principles about discipline have gotten me through some really, really crappy times. Yeah, and Johnny Kim was on his podcast. Jocko's amazing. Really pretty damn good role model. Who's Jocko? Jocko Willink is a ex-Navy SEAL that does a podcast about like Navy SEAL stuff. Johnny Kim, they served together. They were in the same unit, if I'm remembering right. Does this hurt the high bay? It's fine. Will the seat swap arrangement with Russia stay till the end of the ISS? Yes, it'll stay till the end of the ISS. They're gonna build the Gigabay there, Magellan, yeah. What's the TLDR? There's a meeting about it, a Senate subcommittee meeting. Midge! Guess who's board eligible for the next pay grade? Oh, look at you. Yuri, you used LR91 engines on the upper stages of the N1. No, because I didn't have NK engines unlocked. Plus, US engines, turns out, are pretty reliable. Yeah, they're pretty good, man. Well, we're talking about Starbase. Do you think they'll be able to reach Seco on the 9th flight? Yeah, sure. I've seen the simple history video on Johnny Kim. I don't think there's another man that I'd choose to be an astronaut. Yeah, he's pretty good, man. He's pretty cool. Do you think the Russians and Americans will compete more or less in space, not Earth, after the ISS is gone? I don't know, man. I think I'm on the ignore list. You're not? If you're not tagging me, I'm going to assume you're not talking to me. Any guesses when the next launch will be? Fourth week of April, I'd say. So about a month from now. I don't think Russia has an exit strategy for the ISS. They might go back to doing their own station, but who knows? Hey, John Cena, what's up? Mir 2? Mir 2 is already part of the ISS. What direction is this launch going to? Water drop, the Starlink mission that's happening here, 11-7? Probably southeast. Oh, no, this is out of Vandenberg. It's absolutely going southeast. I think Russia will cooperate with China. I don't think so. Mir 2, 5, final, -1. Not that I know of, S, but like I told you, I haven't really looked into it, dude. I have no idea. Couldn't tell you. Anyway, let's keep going with the space news. So, let's check it out. What do we got? What do we got? Yes, Coder, that did happen. Use 40 H1 engines on the first stage of an N1. Yuck. Okay. Gravitics was selected by the Space... Huh. Gravitics selected by the Space Force for $60 million StratFi contract to demonstrate revolutionary orbital carriers. Gravitics Incorporating, a leading innovator in space infrastructure, has announced it's been selected for strategic funding increase by SpaceWorks of the United States Space Force. With potential funding of up to $60 million between government funds, SBIR funds, and private funds to demonstrate and fly the orbital carrier, a groundbreaking solution for tactically responsive space. The orbital carrier is designed to preposition multiple maneuverable space vehicles that can deliver a rapid response to address threats on orbit. This carrier will provide the Space Force with unprecedented flexibility and speed for in-space operations, significantly enhancing the nation's space defense posture. StratFi funding selection represents a significant investment in Gravitics' vision and capabilities, enabling the company to accelerate the development and deployment of this critical technology. I think Sierra Space Reentry satellites will be on this. No, these are most likely it could be like a backup communications thing. It could be deorbiting satellites. Something pretty interesting, there's a latching end effector grapple point on the side of this, implying it's going near something with a robotic arm, interestingly enough. Do you know anything about solar lenses being focused on combustion chambers for increased specific impulse? No, May. Naoko was pretty telling, that's why I assume cooperation. Yeah. Any thoughts on SLS stacking? I'll read into that more and we'll figure out what that is. I covered SLS being stacked yesterday, guys. Did they post another picture of it? Did they stack the Did they stack the LVSA? It's probably good to put those end effector points on spacecraft in the future. Yeah. I'm looking around. The core is already stacked, dudes. Yeah, here. I'll show you. Go in here. What are my thoughts on this? Hell yeah, that's what my thoughts are. That's pretty sick. That's pretty good. That's pretty sweet. Not gonna lie to you. That's yeah, I like it. Now they gotta put the vehicle staging adapter on it. Is there still the potential for classified work in the VAB? And if not, why no live stream? I don't think there is, John. Why no live stream? I don't think anybody has bothered to suggest it. Meh, it's kind of small. It's the same size as Super Heavy, you dope. It's just slightly smaller in diameter. Needs to be shinier. Sure. Any warp on space will bring us back to mid-20th century levels of technology. Does that mean my carbureted cars will be relevant again? Cool. Yeah, I'm not sure I like that whole gravitics thing. Even if this thing isn't like an offensive weapon or anything, it's still people are gonna see it and you know, it's just, oh, just shoot that down, it's stupid. I don't know why, but they posted this picture on Facebook. Now that's a strut right there. Look at this little mini gantry crane. This little mini gantry crane that attaches to the SRB. Look at that. It's a little baby crane. It's just a little baby crane. Look at it. It's a little baby. It's a little baby gantry. It's a cute little guy. Look at it. It's just this little baby. We gotta make sure you lift stuff so you can grow up to be big and strong like your dad. Seriously though, I want it. That's really cool. I don't know what I'd use that for. So, okay, what this crane is designed to do is rotate the strut into position. What you're looking at is an SRB aft attachment strut. This is the MPS over here on the core stage. There's an engine right behind those panels. These actually are what kind of hold the SRBs true. This is a very, it doesn't seem like it, but that's actually a super important piece. I mean, any Kerbal player knows that struts are really important. But these struts, got them, basically help keep the SRBs true. They keep them perfectly parallel to each other. That's why they're there. There's actually a third. There's the other strut. There should be another one that goes like kind of across right here. That basically works like a panhard bar to make sure that the SRBs don't skitch around like this during launch. These things also are on ball joints. Not a lot of people know that. That's not a hinge. It's a Heim joint. The reason why is because SLS actually gets shorter when you tank it. When you fuel it up, it actually contracts. Because you're filling it up with cold propellants. The whole rocket actually gets a little bit shorter. And these struts, when SLS is just sitting on the pad, those struts actually like pointed down almost. And then when the vehicle will only get structurally sound and the struts point like at each other and basically locate the SRBs when you're fully fueled. SLS can't really launch without a full tank of gas. I mean, no rocket can, but you get the idea. That'd be pretty cool, weather guy. Do you have any idea how many feet it shrinks? It's a big vehicle. If Tennyson, sorry, freaking bugs. I had the garage door open today, and it's actually kind of warm, so there's bugs in here. A foot, probably about this much, which is crazy when you think about it. Anyway, yeah, that's great. SLS stacking is fantastic. Dude, I'm still hype on that. I love Starship. Like, Starship is my thing. Like, that rocket, like, ruined other rockets for me, but didn't ruin other super heavy launch rockets for me. Yeah, I'll take SLS and Starship existing at the same time. Yeah, I want this. Yeah, I want that. We should do more of that. Okay, guys, you know the drill. If you're not subscribed to the stream, first of all, I don't care. I don't ask for subs, I earn them. Subscribe to the stream if you think I've earned it. With that being said, if you are unsubscribed, I run ads right now on the stream to make sure that if you aren't subbed to the YouTube, to the Twitch channel, that you don't get an ad during ascent. So we're gonna roll those ads real quick. Don't worry, you're not missing anything. Tell me when you're done. I'll wait. I have not, Kelly. They're done, Jason? How many? That's it? Oh. You think rockets will get larger? Yeah, sure. Buildings didn't get larger before somebody decided to build a taller building. Bridges didn't get further until someone decided they wanted to push the envelope and build a bigger bridge. Ships are the same way. Trains are the same way. Cars are the same way. And then, well, America was doing that, and then we decided we just wanted to be like everybody else, not make cool big cars. Anyway, sure. Bigger rockets will exist in the future. Legs didn't get thicker until leg day. Those are the type of comments we need in this chat, Peter. Ads are over. All right, dudes. Well, now you get this uninterrupted. No ads. On the YouTube side of things, I don't know. Mr. Yak is in the field with a unique view of launch on NSF. Cool. What is Mr. Yak? Mr. Man? Mr. Man? Mr. Yak?
Strong back retract has started.
Where is he? I don't know. Beautiful day in California. So, the rocket flying today, this is a Falcon 9. This is Starlink 11-7. The booster flying today is booster 1063 on its 24th flight. 24th reuse of the first stage. 61-day turnaround. It's going to land out on, of course, I Still Love You, SpaceX's autonomous spaceport drone ship. Strong back retract. It's carrying 27 V2 mini Starlink satellites to orbit today. The launch site that we're launching out of is Slick 4E. That's Slick 4E at Vandenberg Space Force Base. It's beautiful on the coast of California. This is SpaceX's 35th mission of 2025 and the 63rd orbital launch attempt of 2025. Now, the strong back is going to retract to 78 degrees here because Vandenberg uses an old style strong back here. Yeah, clear day out in California. Those fairings absolutely have been reused. I don't know what missions they have been reused on.
Stage 1,
Shanky,
LOX load is complete.
Do I ever think in our lifetime we'll get actual spaceships like Star Trek, Star Wars, or Babylon, etc., etc.? Yes. Starship is one of those. The Space Shuttle was one of those. You already have. 63 launches. This is 63 launch attempts creation. SpaceX has already done more than half of those. 35 missions of that has been SpaceX. Is this the life leader? No. 1063 is not the life leader. A booster has flown 26 times. Is this live? How do I know about launches? Nextspaceflight.com, Magic. Or in my chat, just type !NL. That only works on Twitch, not on the tubes. Sorry, guys. We'll work on integration over there. Yeah, Magic, somebody Oforce did it right before you. Next, but the link right there, Next Spaceflight, yeah, that'll tell you when launches are happening. That'll tell you when events are happening too, like if they're going outside in the space station doing an EVA. Yeah, super useful website. I use it all the time.
Stage 2, LOX load is complete.
The fairing isn't silver, it's just been cooked a couple of times because those fairings have been reused.
Ground gas closeouts.
Hey, Glavik, how you doing? I'll be dipped. It's good to see you, man. How many Falcon Heavy pads does SpaceX have? 2. That one can be retooled for Falcon Heavy. It almost never is, but it could be.
Falcon 9 is in startup.
Okay, we're inside of 1 minute here. Falcon 9 is in start. Okay, I changed my question. I mean ships that don't land and we fly, float about in. Yes, it's possible. We don't have a West Coast Heavy, John. The pad could be retooled for Falcon Heavy. See how wide it is at the bottom? They've never done it, but it could. But they could. Clavic, you got a job working with special needs kids. I got the O1 at Grand Cherokee in December. It's been a whirlwind. Well, that's good, man. Great.
T-minus 15 seconds.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy this Falcon 9 launch from beautiful
10,
Southern California.
9, 8, 7, 6.
Sound
5,
suppression system
4,
is on.
3, 2.
Send it.
Ignition. Engines full power. And liftoff. Go Falcon, go Starlink.
Okay. Blazing a trail into the California sky, we have a liftoff of Starlink
Downrange.
11-7.
Stage 1 propulsion is nominal.
Good call for stage 1 propulsion here. Next call should be for power and telemetry. On the closed loop there, you're hearing a call for a pitch kick here, where the vehicle rolls to its proper flight insertion azimuth. Basically, rolls so it's pointing in the right direction, and then starts tipping over to start its gravity turn. Is Mr. Yak out there? Yes. He is, actually. Should get a call.
Power and telemetry nominal.
There it is. Should the next thing we should get a call for is Supersonic and then Max Q. Actually, right there you could see Slick 3. That Space Launch Complex 3, that is being retooled. Get out of here. It's being retooled for Vulcan right now. What is a gravity turn? Well, in order to get into orbit, Mads, you have to be going fast, parallel to the ground, right? If you just go straight up, you're just going to come right back down, right? In order to get into orbit, you have to be going, once again, parallel to the ground at 17,500 miles an hour. Or 27,500 kilometers an hour, or 7,600 meters a second. Pick your velocity unit of measurement that you like. So,
impact chill.
The rocket starts by going up and then eventually tilts over. And it'll eventually accelerate to orbit. There's a call right there from MVAC Chill. The second stage engine is now being primed for ignition here because in about another 30 seconds, the 9 engines in the first stage are going to shut off. And the second stage will pop off the top of the first stage, and the second stage engine will ignite. The chill sequence is there to thermally condition the engine to make sure that it's cold. It moves cold propellants, so it needs to be cold. If it's warm and then it moves cold propellants, bad stuff happens. Everybody following? Cool. So, should see main engine cutoff here in the next 5 seconds. This is a polar orbit, Zabaski, yes.
Main engine cutoff. Stage separation confirmed.
There it is. There's the second stage engine. There's a shot looking from the first stage up the business end. Good ignition on the second stage. Okay. Next step here should be a fairing separation in the next 5 seconds.
Fairing separation confirmed.
Boop. There it goes. 27 Starlinks there. Those fairings will actually parachute back down and they will be reused. That's what I try to do, Pie Guy. There's no D2C up there, David, but I did see 2 extra satellites at the top that didn't look like the rest of the satellites on board. Weird floaties. It's most likely solid nitrogen from the nitrogen thrusters. So they don't really suffer from re-entry. Oh no, Mycon, they absolutely get toasted during re-entry. They're just light enough to not get toasted too much, if that makes any sense. The fairings are a very big thing, but they don't actually have a lot of mass. They're very, very light for their size, right? What I like to tell people is like, picture you're at the top of a very tall building, and you have a piece of paper, and you have a pebble, right? You drop the piece of paper in the pebble. What's going to happen? Pebble's it's going to go straight down, might get perturbed by the wind a little bit, right? But it's basically going to fall right to the ground. The piece of paper, it'll basically land intact for the most part, provided it like doesn't hit a tree or something, right? That's what the fairing does. Basically, that's the same idea. Fairing is so ridiculously light, and it's a very, very big shape. It actually can slow down fast enough to basically not have extreme re-entry heating. It's the piece of paper. Is the roll program to make the guidance software have to compute the trajectory in 2D instead of 3D? No. No. The guidance software works in 3 dimensions. Yaw, pitch, and roll. And then acceleration on X, Y, and Z. So 6 degrees of freedom. So no, Lava Eagle. They deploy the grid fins early to make sure that they're working. Okay, now, I said that they're the nitrogen thrusters that were firing. The nitrogen thrusters were firing on the first stage to position the first stage correctly for what you're about to see here. This is the entry burn. Supersonic retro propulsion.
Stage 1 entry burn startup.
Now, Falcon 9 is the proverbial rock in our analogy here. It absolutely will burn up if it doesn't do that. That's very important. Not only does it slow it down, but it also shields the booster from re-entry heating. The engine exhaust is enough to provide a cool column of gas around the first stage when it's coming back down to actually push re-entry heating away and keep it away. It basically film cools the entire rocket so it doesn't burn up. That's why it's called supersonic retropropulsion. It's really cool. Now, I know what people are going to say, EJ, that the engine gases are not cold. They're, in fact, hot. How does that prevent it from not burning up? Well, it's not that they're hot. They're hot for us, certainly, but not as hot as plasma. Remember, it's relative, right? Engine exhaust might as well be, like, super chilled compared to re-entry heating. So it's enough to keep Falcon 9 from burning up. Okay, first stage is coming into the lower parts of the atmosphere. You can really start to see the grid fins do work here. Second stage, everything seems good.
Stage 1 transonic.
Do they use 100% throttle on the entry burn or lower just for the shield? No, they use 100% throttle, but to avoid shock compression loading on the booster, they fire 1 engine and then they fire 3 engines. All 3, the E1, E3, or no, the E1, the E5, and the E9 are, so that's 1, 2, and then the center engine are the ones that they fire.
Stage 1 landing burn.
Grid fins doing work, steering it in. Landing burn has begun. We've got a lot of clouds right on the surface here. The drone ship should be under the left grid fin. There it is. We have eyes on the target. Grid fins really doing work to combat some crosswinds there. Landing leg deploy. Grid fins locked into position because they're no longer needed. Engine is entirely on thrust vector control.
Stage 1 landing confirmed.
We have a good landing. 24 flights for Booster 1063 as it lands on, of course, I Still Love You, SpaceX's autonomous spaceport drone ship. Second stage making its way down the coast of Baja, California there. And we're looking for 27,300 here.
Back shutdown.
27,333. What's all that shaking?
Good orbit.
Fellas? There was not a call for nominal orbit insertion, just good orbit. It was doing that during the burn, Fish?
Back shutdown. Good orbit.
Guys, that shutdown looked a little transient there.
Back shutdown. Good orbit.
Well, yes, I can see that. The numbers are good, but I'm wondering what that's about. Maybe the turbo pumps are still on? No. The attitude control systems on the second stage are firing here. You could see them perturb the MLI right here. Watch. It'll psst. See? What do I think? Seems like a little bit of a hard shutdown, Zubaski. The way the gases come out of the engine at the end, that doesn't look right to me. But could be nothing. Look at all the equipment shaking around, dudes. All the plumbing. Do you think nozzle extensions are good or just compensating? What do you mean, RJ? That was a little weird. We'll see. Bugs. Open the garage door once because it's a nice day, and now there's freaking bugs everywhere. Bugs everywhere. You think someone at SpaceX was listening to the Beach Boys in the background, maybe? Oh. Okay. The shakes are correlated to the flashes of gas. It could just be the ACS perturbing the camera, May. In fact, that's what I'm gonna say. That's what I'm gonna go ahead and say, that that's probably what's going on. Either way, that was Starlink 11-7. We saw a 23rd flight of that booster. Pretty good. Or 24th flight of 1063, excuse me. Yeah, I just wanted to be sure. Why do they perform the roll program then, if not to simplify guidance, navigation, and control? The antennas need to be pointed in the right direction, dude. The vehicle has an orientation. This is the reason, Lava, why, like the Saturn V, for instance, has those checkerboard patterns on it. Now, it's so they could see the vehicle's orientation, but the guidance system still has to orient itself to the vehicle on an X, Y, and Z. There needs to be an up. There needs to be a forward. There needs to be a back. There needs to be, you know, left, right, zenith, and nadir, in order for the guidance systems to work correctly. Because once again, you remember, we're working in 6 degrees of freedom, so it needs to establish a reference frame. It needs a point of reference. So on Starship, you tell me, what's forward? What's forward? What's back? Forward, back. Pretty straightforward, right? It's pretty easy to understand. What's up? What's port? What's starboard? What are we talking about here? What's up? Don't say the sky. Be quiet. What is your zenith orientation here? What's your nadir? That's zenith. That's nadir. You can tell because of the way it is. The space shuttle, it was pretty easy to figure this out, right? The side with the wings is the bottom, right? The vehicle still needs an orientation, dude. You still have to. It still has to figure out where the ground is. Falcon 9 does the same thing. The first stage, despite being a perfect cylinder, still has, you know, zenith, nadir, prograde, retrograde, radial in, radial out, right? It still has those. And it rolls so the pitch axis is aligned with the horizon. And it pitches over. Part of that is so the antennas are pointed in the right direction. Part of that is that's how the vehicle figures out where it is. It figures out the orientation from the flight azimuth. Geek, I have 2 questions. Has any of the Starlink SACs ever re-entered yet? Yes. Is a retrograde launch easier to get to orbit since Earth would be rotating opposite the way underneath? No. You have a velocity gain imparted on the vehicle because you're further away from the axis that Earth spins on. They did try to catch the payload fairings with a net at one point. It didn't work. The more elegant solution there was to just make the fairings float. The fairings are already boat shaped, so just waterproof them. Yeah. So, Geek, if you're going with this, say the Earth is spinning this way, you're going with it, you get a free velocity gain, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're going against the grain or going with the grain, you still need to be going 17,000 miles an hour, right? If the Earth is rotating this way and your speed relative to the central pivoting axis of Earth is probably about 1,500 meters a second. You know, you're going around. Just because we're on the surface doesn't mean we're not relatively moving, all right? So 1,500 feet per second gets imparted on you when you go this way, when you go with the spin of the Earth. You have to counter that 1,500 feet per second if you're going retrograde. Now, this gets a little bit complicated. What we're talking about here is ideally a launch site on the equator, okay? So if you're on the equator, you're on Earth's equatorial plane, you have about 1,500 feet per second or about 500 meters a second velocity gain if you launch east. If you launch retrograde from the equator, your vehicle needs an extra 500 meters a second delta V to get in the exact same orbit going in the opposite direction because the Earth is spinning. Polar sites don't have to worry about that as much. The reason why is you're closer to the point of rotation. So you with a polar site, you don't really have to worry about that too much. You could just launch, if you're like in Kodiak, you just launch due south, should get into a perfectly polar orbit, right? However, if you're trying to get into a polar orbit from an equatorial launch site, like when the Europeans launch stuff into space on Vega and it goes into a polar orbit, you have to run a huge dogleg trajectory because you have to counter the Earth's rotational force on your with a radial, or not radial, with an anti-normal out of orbit an anti-normal plane change during ascent. Sorry, it's been a while. Basically, the Earth is spinning, and if you launch straight this direction while you're spinning, you're not gonna get into a perfectly polar orbit. You have to kind of take a left turn to you have to take a left turn, and then you have to weasel it back to the right to get realigned because the Earth is spinning. I still don't know why SpaceX cannot do RAN steering for RTLS missions. For downrange missions, I do understand its recovery limitations, but RTLS is doable. Baron, they probably don't do it because it's not worth it. Just keep using the drone ships. You're only going to have to do that for another 5 years. 5 to 10 years, maybe, at best. If you need to build another drone ship, it's easier than trying to redo the avionics package to permit RAN steering. No, it's not about the Earth's rotational speed. That has nothing to do with it, Geek. It's very much orbiting around the gravitational field. Yeah. It's called a gravity turn, not an Earth rotation turn. 17,500 is relative, dude. It's, yeah. Think of it like kind of how like airspeed with an aircraft is not necessarily ground speed. Same idea, only there's no air up in space. But, your airspeed and ground speed can be two different numbers, right? You need to get to 17,500 miles an hour relative to the gravity field. But the spin helps you get there easier. Can you explain what makes them normal, anti-normal? Why did they choose those names? I don't know the reason, Dan. You need a small globe because you explain this so often. Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, big thing, why Falcon would do its gravity turn, guys, is for the antennas. Antennas got to be pointed in the right direction. Anyone how many degrees of plane change Falcon 9 second stage can roughly achieve? Depends on your payload mass. Mads, I would consider looking up the IXPE mission. It is a polar, it is an imaging X-ray polarimetry explorer, IXPE. IXPE was launched on a Falcon 9. Now, I don't know what Falcon 9's maximum orbital plane change is, what it can do. It really depends on payload mass. IXPE is a very, very small vehicle. It's only 330 kilograms. What I can tell you is during this ascent, when it launched on Falcon 9, IXPE and Falcon 9 second stage performed the biggest on-orbit plane change ever achieved by anything ever. Ever. IXPE did a 27-degree plane change on orbit. That's the most anything has ever done. Ever. To my knowledge. I mean, there could be something crazy out there. Who knows? IXBE launched due east out of KSC. It launched due east out of KFC. KFC? Chick-fil-A is better. Anyway, it launched due east out of KSC at a 27, heading due east. So its flight azimuth was 90, okay? Flight azimuth is the direction that the rocket turns relative to a magnetic compass, right? Launching 90 degrees directly due east out of KSC, which is 27 degrees north latitude, will put you into a 27-degree inclined orbit. If you're at 30 degrees north latitude and you launch due east, you're going to end up being in a 30-degree inclined orbit. Make sense? Azimuth is not necessarily correlative to inclination, though. It really depends on where your launch site is. But IXBE flew heading due east out of KSC, 27 degrees north, and then Falcon 9, when it crossed the descending node, which is the point where an orbit crosses over the equator. A 27-degree inclined orbit will cross the ascending node over Africa. IXBE in the Falcon 9 second stage basically was going over the descending node. So they were coming from the northwest heading southeast. And... Hey, I'm walking here! And the second stage went 90 degrees to prograde and burned its engines to recircularize at an equatorial orbit. 27-degree inclination change. Anyway, yeah, that's the biggest one that I know of. I don't know what its maximum is. Its maximum really depends. It depends on payload mass. With a 330 kilogram payload like IXBE, you have the delta V to do a 27-degree on-orbit plane change in low Earth orbit. A 27-degree on-orbit plane change in LEO is probably, let's think about this for a second. I would guess probably another kilometer a second, 1,000 meters a second extra, maybe even 1,500. Yeah, that's just a guess. But that was a guess, but it seemed logical. Sounds expensive. It's very expensive. There's a reason why flight azimuths exist. I asked the question, as in Europe, our launch sites are limited, so plane change in the future would be a game changer. Not from Kourou, of course. Yeah. Flavia, I'm going to bed. I'll watch the rest tomorrow. Have a great rest of Space News. Yeah, sure. Cosine function to find the exact number. Ooh, look at you, Mr. Quackulous. It's trig, actually, but whatever. No. Shaw, my guess is probably... Yeah, 1,000 to 1,500 would be what I'm guessing in there. Do what Seakraken did. Cosine 2.7. Oh, look. Here. Hold on. I hate doing math in public. Okay, look. Cosine 27. So that means it's 89% of 7,600. So we do 7,600 times 0.89. Actually, it would be divided, but you get the idea. So now we could do 7,600 minus 6764. $836 meters second burn to do a 27-degree plane change at LEO at 120 in LEO at 120 kilometers, give or take. Yeah, see, it's not as much as you think, but 800 meters a second is no joke. That's a lot. I mean, keep in mind that was. If we had like full wet mass and dry mass of the stage and payload mass as well, which basically fits into dry mass, I could probably get that number a little bit better. Probably dial that in. Like I said, my guess would be around 1,000. Cost of plane change only makes sense for small defense sats, I guess. Yeah, it depends on where the satellite's going. A little off topic, but do you think Gateway will actually be built? Yes, it's being built right now, albeit very slowly. EJ, what could you advise if I want to build something like the Alpaca Lunar Lander in KSP? Oh, that thing. I don't like that thing, dude. I don't like that thing at all. Yeah, I don't like that at all. I think that is a very strange design. Thing is based? No, it is not. There's a reason why it didn't get selected. You know why it didn't get selected? Because it's a piece of junk. They had negative mass fraction. It was too heavy. That's why they didn't get a down select. Seriously, their design did not have enough delta V to land on the moon. I bet it wouldn't fall over. Geek, you're controlling it from right here. So the thing is like this. If you're looking at it from the side, this is the front. You go into land. You were saying? Thing doesn't land sideways. This is the front of the vehicle. Oops. You guys want to know what's a really good design for a lunar lander? Wait for it. Wait for it. Let me just get you a picture of one. That's not a 3D render of it doing its job. Oh, how about that one? That one's pretty good. Do you know why? You know why that one's pretty good? Because it worked. Yuri, you could also try your luck with the LOK with lock if you really wanted to. If you really wanted to try. I don't think the LK lander would have worked very well. It's also very tall. But you know what the Soviet engineers came up with as a solution to the lander tipping over? Or potentially not tipping over? Actual rocket engines pointed upright. So when this thing registered a contact, these engines would fire and would force the lander upright into the ground. Yeah, that was their solution for that problem. See the rocket engines? See, that's how that was their reasoning for getting the lander to not tip over. They never got to test it though, but well, again, I need something to transport people to the lunar base and back to a lunar station. Space 1999. Yeah, Tessa, we proved in Kerbal that it was a pretty good design. Kind of wish they did Saturn V with no Apollo capsule so they could bring down a long-term rover or something. That was the plan, dude. That was part of the applications program. Seacracken, what they wanted to do in the future was just send Saturn V's out with, okay, look, give me one moment. Okay, so check this out. look, this is a very, very small picture of Saturn 1B. So, okay, I want you to pay attention here. See AS204? Look at that. What can you tell me about that? That fairing is very different than this fairing. Why? Because it's not a fairing at all. It's a nose cone on top of the vehicle staging adapter. What the Apollo missions wanted to do was launch a LEM, eventually launch LEMs with no ascent module on them, to land cargo down on the surface. Let the AGC do its thing. Apollo 12 and all the other Apollo missions showed that the guidance computer could land on the moon by itself. It's not a big deal. By 17, they had it dialed in. No ascent module. You take this right here and put that on top of a Saturn V. Basically making a Saturn V cargo variant. Kind of similar to what they did with Skylab. That's why they were testing that fairing. Well, part of the reason why they made that fairing is so they could test the LEM on orbit, but that's another story. Whispers. Oh, dear. Need a 10-meter fairing for that. So yeah, they wanted to do that. That was the plan. They wanted to, what they were going to do is, so Seacracken, their initial thing was to put a HAB module on here. Something somewhat analogous to the front of Skylab, if you really want to know. So Skylab has this, the docking adapter, this piece right here, that, but on top of a descent module. Remember, you know, you have plenty of Delta V because you're not carrying fuel. You don't need to carry a fuel and 2 meat bags and their spacesuits in the ascent module. You could make a pretty big hollow module. They're basically going to send one of these bad boys down without, you know, this thing had an airlock built into it. See, believe it or not, the airlock mechanism on Skylab is a Gemini capsule door. Not a lot of people know that. Yeah, it's a Gemini capsule hatch. Yeah, fun fact. They wanted to do that. They wanted to take this, put this on top of a descent module, right? The descent module, obviously no rovers or anything, and land a HAB module down, and then land people next to this HAB module, which they proved you could do during Apollo 12, right? Land people next to it, and then plug this thing in to the module. Deploy actually put out some solar panels, ALSEP style, and then you could do an even longer duration stay on the moon. That was the idea. That's where they wanted to go. That's what they wanted to do. Could have just made an entire moon base out of spent descent modules and HAB modules, and then just wired them all together. Dude, Apollo is seriously the most legendary systems engineering for rocket applications ever devised. No one has even come close. It's so well thought out. Like, it's pretty crazy. The other thing that they wanted to do... Hey, I'm talking here. The other thing that the Apollo engineers wanted to do was actually take this adapter piece right here and attach it to an actual live S4B with the solar panels and whatnot, right? So you launch a Saturn V, there's no LEM, no Apollo telescope mount. You have a Saturn V with people on the top, but you have this right here, and then you have a live S4B. What this will serve as is a HAB module, and then they wanted to do a flyby with this thing. They wanted to fly by Venus. That was the next target for the Apollo program, believe it or not, doing a Venus flyby, and then maybe Mars. This would get you close enough to actually getting people seeing Mars for the first time, and that's something that we basically could have done in the 70s. Not could have done, like, had you not just completely detooled the entire Apollo industrial base. Like, this is not like, oh, maybe we would have done. No, if Apollo had still been going at full steam, they would have done this by 75. Like, Skylab exists. This stuff existed. They just never used it for what it was intended for. They just used it to make a space station. Now, the other crazy thing that you could do with this thing is that you could take this, transfer, right? And then you could use the CSM to circularize this thing and capture it out by the moon if you really wanted to. And then just have the CSM come home. Burb, 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 burb. Oh, dude, they had plans, man. They had plans. It's good stuff. Real good stuff. Speaking of really awesome plans, we'll go to the next bit of space news. Check this out. SpaceX announced on Friday, March 28th at 5:30 p.m. Listen to the Framinauts to discuss the upcoming Fram 2 mission in spaces at 5:30 on Friday. That's during the Flame Trench. Oh, boy. That's cool. As much as I heard about Skylab, I never knew that. Yeah, Skylab's airlock is quite actually just a Gemini capsule. It's a Gemini capsule hatch. Yep. It's hard to get a picture of it, but you can find it if you know where to look. Yeah, I remember the first time somebody on stream told me that, and I didn't believe them. I'm like, that's not a Gemini. Oh my gosh, that's a Gemini door. Trying to find it. It's hard to find a picture of it. It's out there though if you know where to look. Also, the Skylab adapter had 2 docking ports on it, so it could dock 2 capsules to it if needed. You find one, Mutter? Oh yeah, there it is. There it is. Thanks, man. Freaking Gemini door. Hey, use what works. The LK lander. LK was nuts, dude. Pretty nutsoid design, dude. It's basically Soyuz. Basically, or not a Soyuz, it's a Vostok capsule. Read previous. Do you think a modernized Saturn V could work as a commercial launcher? Maybe. Man, Mutter, I was honing in on it too. You beat me to it, you dingleberry. I would have found it. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, good enough. I went to the south. That is what I say to do, isn't it? You know what? You know what, dude? I'm saving that picture in my Saturn V compilation folder. This is going in my cringe compilation. You save this one. It was a good picture. Yeah, 2 ports as well. This is what they wanted to use for the transfer vehicles. That's why this, if you look, this thing is... it's its own separate thing. They would attach it to the dry workshop. How much did an S4B cost versus Falcon? Article, I don't know how to come up with any semblance of a useful argument for comparing a stage from a Saturn V to an entire stack. I have no idea. It looks like a bit of kit bashing. That was NASA back in the day, Kiboa. They kit bashed everything. Dude, I'm telling you. Apollo Systems engineers were on another level. So that was Von Braun, Dornberger, another guy by the name of Joseph Shea. These guys, dude, they were on another level of, like, I will say this. Saturn V is expendable, and that sucks, right? But if you mass produce these things, it very well justifies the expendability. Saturn V was made to launch. It was made to launch a lot. Like, a lot. The engines are not anything too particularly complicated. You know, you have a closed cycle gas generator in your first stage using Carolox. I mean, it's the biggest one ever devised. That had its own complications, but they figured those out. And then J2s are pretty good little Hydrolox engines. They're pretty damn good. You know, third stage has 1, second stage has 5. Whatever. Simple. It very much is like Falcon 9 in that regard. Merlin engines are, I'm not going to say that it's not complicated. Every rocket engine is hard to make. Merlins are very simple. Open cycle kerosene, very simple. Like, it's a very simple design. It really is. Comparatively to like Raptor or a shuttle engine. Oh yeah. Or like even a B4 or an RD-180. Like, this is like first tier in Kerbal versus N tier in KSP, right? Saturn V was built to launch. It was built to launch a lot. That was the idea. That's why they built a VAB with 4 high bays. That's why they built 3 mobile launchers. That's why they built 2 pads. They wanted to build 5. Complex 39 was supposed to be a 5-pad launch complex. 4 pads, 1 for each high bay. And then a spare just in case something went wrong. That was the truth. That's the truth. I have no idea, Mads. What the heck is that? What am I looking at here? See, what is this? That you want to die? Because that's how you're gonna die. Wasn't 39A supposed to be 39C, but they got renamed? Yes, that's correct, Willian. Yes. What is this thing in the center? Other than something that's going to make it so this doesn't have enough Delta V to land you. It would help if the door lined up with the ladder. Yeah, let's just get out of the limb and just, here, don't stub your toe on the thruster block. It's fine. It's fine, whatever. Anyway, so From 2 is going to have a Twitter Spaces discussion, or X Spaces discussion. The next flight here from 2 is the next Crew Dragon flight. It should be launching on, I think they said Monday. Here, let me check next space flight just to be absolutely sure. From 2 is scheduled for Monday, March 31st. So, yeah. There you go. Next Monday. From 2 is going to be, it is a polar orbit mission. The first time ever any humans are going to be in a polar orbit, ever. Not only is it the first commercial mission to a polar orbit, it's the first mission to a polar orbit, which is pretty cool. 9:47 p.m. on Monday. Finally found a pic of the LM shelter concept. Yeah, dude. Oh, what could have been, man? What could have freaking been? Yeah, I'm telling you, the Apollo architecture was god tier. It is expendable. But how Von Braun thought about things and how NASA thought about things because of their expectations for the vehicle, their requirements. Choose to get to the moon before the decade is out. Okay, so that forced a particular type of design mentality, right? If you want to do it with the quickness, right? Vehicle reusability goes out the window. That's fair. Fine. That didn't mean that they didn't have concepts about how they would have made Saturn V reusable. There were several different ways that they thought that they could get reuse happening on the first stage. One of it was giving an S1C wings and having it fly back and land on a runway with a pilot on board, which is pretty cool. It's pretty awesome. Nowadays, we could just do that. You could just do that with a computer. Still pretty cool, though. Other ways were parachuting the stage down with drogue chutes and then popping the LOX dome off. And basically turning the entire stage with no front fuel bulkhead into a giant shock absorber. A giant hydropneumatic shock absorber that would absorb the impact speed. Yeah. Something that technology eventually carried its way into the shuttle SRBs. When the shuttle SRB lands, the parachutes aren't enough to give the thing a nice cushion landing. What happens is the bottom of the SRB is wide open. It goes into the water. Water shoots up into the SRB casings, and because they're airtight, because SRB, it compresses air inside of the SRB. And it actually turns the whole booster into a gigantic hydropneumatic shock absorber. Yep. They wanted to do that with the S1C, which is pretty cool. That would have gotten them their F1 engines back. Dude, the Apollo program's crazy, man. They had such insane ideas. I could go on about this for a long time. See Baron's thing, man. I know about this. I know about this plan. Yeah. This was an actual concept. What it's called Moose. Yep. Yeah, if the lander crashed, they could basically build. You could basically build an ascent module with the parts. It's called Moose. I forget what the acronym stands for, but yes. That's absolutely a thing. What in the Kerbal? Oh yeah. I'm telling you, man, they thought of everything with that damn program. Apollo's insane. Everything was thought of. No stone unturned. That's pretty psychotic, but it's also useful. I love 60s engineers, Hellfish. 60s engineers were dialed, man. They were locked in, pretty much on all levels. Cars, planes, spacecraft, computers. They were locked in on all levels. Unbelievably cool. Yeah, something like that, Lava Eagle, yeah. And guys, the cool thing is, you know what the crazy thing is, guys, is, you know, the Saturn V, they were going to launch it a lot expendable at first, and then they would have looked at ways to get it back. The ways to get the bottleneck components back. Seriously, like, what's your limiting factor here at this point? Your limiting factor, well, you're expending your booster. You want to get your engines back. Okay, so they were looking at ways to get engines. Right? They were looking at reuse. They were going to implement reuse down the road. If they saw fit. It was in the back of their minds. Retrofitting an expendable booster with reusability options is a very viable pathway for making reuse happen. I don't know about you guys. I would love to see an S1C land like a Falcon 9. That would be pretty good. Harley? Harley? Harley. That'd be pretty cool, man. Can you imagine the landing legs? The landing legs going out over the nacelles? That would be pretty sick, dude. Just saying. I mean, I don't see why it couldn't be done, Hellfish. Air starting in F1 might be a little bit problematic. But if math serves me left, I'm pretty sure F1 engines use T-tab. Yep. 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 It was used before liftoff to ignite F1 engines. Oh, yeah. You could air start an F1. You absolutely could. Hmm. Hang on, I'm talking to Ian. Sorry. Just took time. Took time in my day to crap post on NSF alumni's Twitter threads. Yeah. If you're an older viewer, this will make sense. So Ian got a cat. Okay, it's my buddy Ian. He's a longtime viewer. his username is Ian the Pineapple. So I said, Ian the cat owner? He said, I guess so. However, I'm not sure he's noticed the traffic light. The sacred traffic light still exists. The sacred traffic light still exists. It's an older stream meme, but it checks out, sir. He grew a stash? Wait, did he? Yeah, he did. Yeah, neat. I now want to see an S1C landing in the chopsticks. Huh. Ian, the traffic light. Oh, yeah, he saw it. All right, cool. We're good. We're good. We're good. My crap posts are safe for another day. Anyway, let's get through more space news. So Firefly posted this. Flight 6 update. The Alpha team is still working within the range to determine our next launch window for message in a booster. We've been up against unfavorable wind conditions that exceed safety limits for some critical assets with Space Launch Delta 30. More to come. In the meantime, our Alpha rocket and Lockheed Martin's LM400 tech demo satellite remain ready for liftoff. Ooh, promo footage? I actually don't know, Sea Kraken. I don't think so. Yeah, nope, can't play that. So this is actually Slick 2. That's Slick 2 at Vandenberg. Carrot Top. Cool. I'm pumped for Isar's attempt. Shame they aren't streaming it, though. Yeah, Isar is looking at the 28th now. That actually was the next bit of space news. Isar Aerospace is now targeting the next launch window for the first test flight of Spectrum, net 20th of March. Follow us for more updates. Cool. Now, Baron, what is this? Oh, I don't want to share that. What I do want to share is this, though. I don't know who this is. I don't know No Life Jordan, Neutron's #1 supporter. Posted this picture of a potential debris removal device using sticky hardening foam for space debris removal. Get gooped, idiot. Jordan's cool. All right, Kate. Right on. This looks just ridiculous enough to actually be a real thing. Oh my god, it is a plumbus. Yipes. I see this as a bad idea. Why not just put like a big piece of chewing gum on the front of this thing and then just fly into it? And why shoot out glue? Why shoot out goop? Get gooped, idiot. What is this? Okay. So, got a couple more things for you here. One is a quick one from Perseverance. Perseverance took a picture of these swatches that are bolted to the side here. These are all different materials that they're looking to make spacesuits out of. And so they have a bunch of swatches that are attached to the rover to see how they last in the harsh Martian environment. They've been up there for 4 years to inform the design of future suits, which is actually pretty cool. Hey, Noswolf, what's up, dude? So, next thing here. We saw yesterday ULA released a video about them doing a qualification test on their GEM-63XL boosters after they had a nozzle liberate itself from the Vulcan Cert 2 mission. ULA said that they traced the... Okay, so the bottom of the SRB basically blew off during the Cert 2 Vulcan mission a little while ago. ULA said they basically traced the fault tree to a manufacturing defect and qualified another booster on the test stands out in Utah, or Northrop Grumman's test stands out in Utah, and proved that it was basically a manufacturing defect. And that prompted this. The Space Force has certified Vulcan Centaur for national security launches, the first of which is now scheduled for the summer. There you go. Vulcan got its certification. SpaceX should tweet about Starlink deployment in the next 15 minutes. Got it. Goop All Sats sounds like a band name. Hey, we're Goop All Sats. We're a progressive D&B synthwave band. Goop All Sats. It's just gas for short. Yeah, Uriam. Yeah, I understand. It makes sense. Can Vulcan fuel vehicles in the fairings? Not to my knowledge, no. I'm going to name my black metal band Satellite Goopers. Satellite Goopers isn't a black metal band name. Satellite Goopers is like a 90s ska band name. Right? Like that can't be a black metal name. Great NSF stream with Saxavor tonight in the Shetland Isles. Volunteered you to go and install cameras for the live stream as Yak will not wear a kilt and you can do a Sean Connery voice. Oh boy. Okay, so the Starlink satellite's confirmed. All right, cool. Alex's stream was awesome. Yeah, it's pretty cool. It's abbreviated gas, but you must say GAS, not gas. Yep, Sat Slimers. Yep. Mm-hmm. Fairing is designed for late load for Dream Chaser and nuclear payloads, but they can't support late load of fuel. Okay. Predominant gifted a sub to Goopers, and Northern Sky had a 4-month resub. Engineer had a 17-monther before that. Sorry, guys, my alerter is very broken right now. Tron Diver had a 91 before that. Billy bought it a 3-monther before that, and then Geeson gifted a tier 1 subscription to a user named Gifted Subscriptions. Five bits from the bit noise works. Why is it just the alerter noise? Oh boy. The support queue. Oh it's gross. I don't like doing that. I really don't like doing that. Just call the tips as they happen, for the love of... What? You know what? Next time I host a Flame Trench, that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to call it as it happens. I'll be like the interrupting cow. Knock, knock. Who's there? Interrupting tip. Interrupting tip who? Interrupting tip gifted 5 red team memberships. All right. You know, like. Now, so tomorrow I'm driving a mate out to pick up his new Impreza. 98 Impreza with 20 miles on it. 20. Okay. $460C6. Why do you keep saying that, Article? Now I want to go. Now I want to go play with my nice new clean shop. Oh, look at it. Dude, I'm making progress. Actually, guys, for the people that haven't seen it, look at the shelf over there on the left. It looked like the shelf on the right, or the table on the right. That was a lot of work. There's a lot of trash. I am deeply, deeply ashamed of how much trash, not junk, not like old parts, actual trash was sitting on that desk. It's not, yeah, not great. Good work. Thank you. Do you have before pictures? I mean, just check the VOD. Check yesterday and the day before Space News, dude. Maybe I'll put all the pictures together. I'll show you before and after. Oh. If you 3D print stuff out of metal, is it safe to weld? Idea, maybe. It depends on what metal you're printing. You could, if you like laser sinter aluminum, Sea Kraken, I'm pretty sure you could TIG weld to that. Sure, why not? Will you come organize my shop? One shop at a time. The truck bed is full of trash. Yes, it is full of trash. Look, there's 4 bags of trash in there. Trash and recycling. I separate my trash. Yeah, whatever. It's a thing around here. So you move the trash from the left bench to the right one. No. No, what? No. I'm going back to Space News. I don't want to talk about this no more. Okay, this is a bit of juicy space news. NASA announces it won't fly the planned NG-22 mission and will instead fly NG-23 as the next Cygnus mission this fall at the earliest. You mean the red workbench in the center, right? Yes, I do. I do, Scarce. I do. NASA Northrop Grumman are adjusting planning for the company's next commercial resupply launch to the International Space Station. Northrop Grumman's Commercial Resupply Services 23 will now be the company's next flight to the International Space Station for NASA. Targeted net fall 2025, no earlier than. In March, Northrop Grumman informed NASA of damage to the container carrying the Cygnus pressurized cargo module for the company's Commercial Resupply Services 22 during shipment to the launch site. Following initial evaluation, there is also damage to the cargo module. The International Space Station program will continue working with Northrop Grumman to assess whether the Cygnus cargo module is able to safely fly to the space station on a future flight. In previously announced plans to adjust cargo manifest on the agency's next resupply mission on a SpaceX Dragon capsule in April. Rewind. NASA previously announced plans to adjust the cargo manifest on the agency's next resupply mission on a SpaceX Dragon spacecraft in April and added more consumable supplies and food to help ensure sufficient reserves of supplies aboard the station. Commercial resupply missions, managed by NASA's ISS program, International Space Station program, provide critical science supplies and hardware. Yeah, okay, someone dropped Cygnus and broke it completely. Yeah. That's what happened. Somebody, you know, if you think you screwed up at work, somebody dropped a multi-million-dollar spacecraft and bricked the damn thing. Yeah. Oops. NG-23 is going to be back at Wallops, right? Probably not, John. They're probably going to fly NG-23 on the rocket that was supposed to launch NG-22. Maybe they'll sell it now for cheap. Check eBay. Yep. Never been launched. Only dropped once. It works. That reference works. Did they crash the truck? Somebody dropped it in its container, Cheeseburger. Yeah. Honestly, not using that is the right move. If I had a piece of spaceflight hardware and I dropped it, I would immediately scrap it. I don't care if it's you just finished it, scrap it. Or take the entire thing apart and put it back together to make sure everything is right. The last time someone dropped something and said, it's fine. The last time that happened, this happened. Here you go. So this is a Delta II launch in 1997. This is one of my favorite things to show. It's one of my favorite things to show as to why if you drop something, you shouldn't use it.
Have ignition and liftoff from Cape Canaveral Air Station of the Air Force
So
launch vehicle.
the Delta II did experience a little bit of a problem. It had a little bit of an observation on the way up. The mission unfortunately didn't make it into orbit.
In the new GPS-2R satellite.
Here, it's subtle.
We have had an anomaly. We just had an anomaly of the Delta II.
Did you catch it? Somebody dropped the SRB and then was like, oh yeah, it's fine. It cracked the casing. Yeah. Oops.
Launch vehicle from Cape Canaveral Air Station. We need to secure the area.
Secure the area?
Once again,
Lady, look out the damn window!
Delta II launch vehicle from Cape Canaveral Air Station, and we just had a problem with the vehicle on the
A
path.
problem? Hellfire is raining down! What are you doing? Also, there was during the Apollo program, there was a guy that was handling liquid oxygen, or just oxygen tanks for the Apollo program, working on environmental control systems, the ECS, the life support systems for the Apollo CSM. He was handling a LOX tank and he dropped it, and it cracked the Teflon seal on the tank, and he was just like, yeah, that's fine. That didn't cause any problems at all. Oh, nice. Copy pasta. All right. All right. There you go. Give me 1 second. All right. That's a new copy pasta. I have not seen that one before. I think someone's chatbot is not working correctly. Hey, whoever did that, you got to have the bot converse with me to get it to work right. No, that clearly didn't work. That's awesome. I reported that that user. I can't say for what. I'm gonna report you for terrorism. Yeah, America or something. I don't know. Anyway, let's get back to space news. I'm sorry. It's sure. All right. Anyway. Sorry, YouTube chat. This probably isn't going to make sense. Somebody went off about religion with a copy pasta in Twitch chat. It does happen from time to time. Do it, Scarce. Do it. Hold on. Whoa, hold on. I gotta listen to that one more time. Mustang. That's a Coyote engine. God, I love Starbase Live. It's the best. Anyway. Apollo 13, Starship 9. Yeah, Andrew, there you go. Right. They used the same copy pasta here over 2 years ago. Really? That's awesome. Oh, thanks, Creeper. Creeper got me a picture. I'm adding that to the collection as well. Cool. Same user. Oh, man. I wish I had known. I would have played into it. This popped that popped up in my feed for the what? Okay. Next bit. I dare you to read the comments. Nope. No, I'm good. Nope. Nope. No, we're not. No, we're not doing that. What are you kidding? Yeah. No, I'm not doing that. We have an RGV aerial picture from the top looking down at Starbase, which is pretty sweet. Read just one comment. Don't make me do this. What? I don't want to do this. I don't want to. I don't want to. Here, this was one of the replies. There you go. There you go. There you go. That's not. We looked at one of the comments. All right. There you go. So look, you can see that they started taking apart the high bay right there. They moved a big piece off of high bay, right there. See that? The giga. Wait a minute. Hold up. Hold up a second. You guys see the barriers going through the ring yard? Do you suppose that is that the outline for the sucker? That's pretty good. Giga Chad Bay. That's Baymaxing. It's the high bay demolition debris fence. Yeah. Gwen, I want to believe that that's the outline of the Giga Bay, all right? Can I believe that? Certainly there are people in the spaceflight community that you know choose to believe much more ridiculous things than this. Can I just believe that that's the outline for the building? And like can you just let me have this one? Thanks. Thanks, Gwen. No! No believing! No! For some reason you found this in your download folder. What the hell? I don't even know where the heck that picture was taken. Oh, never mind. I know exactly where that picture was taken. Yeah, that was like a long time ago. No, Sawyer took this picture. Dude, this picture's from 2014. See? Sawyer took that picture. Should compare the hair then and now. Still got a little bit left. I still got a little bit left. Still a little bit. Hang on. I still got him. Right here. Relax. Still got him. It's fine. It doesn't give the same effect? Why not? How it started, how it's going. Agent Smart, 43-month resub. Thank you. Nah, Dead Scum, I won't. I'd rather just shave right here and have the bald look than shave my head. Nah, I'm not doing that. You've been watching this stream for more than 10 years. This is from ISSRDC. I saw a report today about plans to return the ISS to the Pacific Ocean in 2030. To return it? The deorbit plans. The USDV. SpaceX is building a modified Dragon capsule to deorbit it, Salty. Yeah, that's been discussed. That's not new news. We've known that for a little while. You had a bit more hair then. Yeah, thanks. How old was I in this picture? My hair is darker now? Huh. Good to see you. This is 2014, so I would have been 1988. 26. 26? 26. Huh. It's pretty good. No low taper fade. Dude, this was before low taper fades, right? Ain't no way you were 26 in that photo. What do you mean? Of course I was 26 in that photo. How old do you think I look in that photo? Looking like MacGruber? All right. Hell yeah. 38? I look 38 in this picture? 12? You're sending mixed numbers. I don't... The glasses make you look older? Check your Discord DM for something cool. Please don't show this on stream. Okay, I won't. You look like a 23-year-old guy in 1977. I'll take that. That's cool. With those shades, you kind of look like Kid Boga. Dude, I was wearing shades before Kid Boga even existed. All right? At least, you know, I really hope I don't eat those words. I'm pretty sure I got in before he did. How old am I now? Oh, man. I'm only 37 this year. That sucks. Yeah. Oh, well. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? You're going to do nothing. You don't know what you want. Dude, I seriously lost track. I lost track of, like, my age during COVID. And I have to think about it. I used to not have to think about it. Now I have to think about it. I was like, I have to think about it. I'm like, how old am I? Oh, wow, that sucks. It gets worse. Whatever. What am I supposed to do? Stop? What am I supposed to stop doing that? I don't care. Why prolong the inevitable? Mr. Anderson, I'm going to enjoy watching you die, Mr. Anderson. Did you try being younger? Yeah, it didn't work. You know what I miss? Tasty wheat. Did you ever have tasty wheat? Yeah, but technically neither did you. That's exactly my point. What if what I think tasty? How do we know what the machines think tasty wheat tasted like? Maybe what I think tasty wheat tastes like maybe eggplant or tuna fish or something. Waiting for EJ's midlife crisis. Midlife crisis. I'm good, dude. I got the internet. I'm fine. Midlife crisis. We don't need that. When the EJ synth meme happened. Help your landlady carry out the garbage. Baron, what was your old name? Gotta wear these on Flame Trench? Alright. That's why chicken tastes like everything. That's right. So, chat, what did you think of it? This shiny starship with the flaps. No, it doesn't talk much, but if you like, I can arrange a much more personal relationship. Digital launch provider, hard at work. Pay no attention to these hypocrites, chat. To deny our own instinct is to deny the very thing that makes us human. You want Block 1 back. I don't. That's a very good meme, Baron. Also, you never told me what your old account name was. You saw those movies in the theater? Yeah, it was a good movie. I swear these people are doing this on purpose. What was it? Hold on, we gotta listen. Starbase Live. Wait for it. Huh. Albatross 3938. Huh. Yeah, I don't remember. Dodge truck? No, I don't think so. It's definitely a truck. Definitely a truck. I'd say Chevy. But what's throwing me for a loop here is that sounds like a small block Chevy. That doesn't sound like an LS. It sounds like a small block Chevy. Dude, that's a small block Chevy. Where's that truck? I'm going in NSL and be like, yo, give me Highway 4 right now. Huh. Interesting. No, not open headers. This just sounds like a small block Chevy with a nice exhaust. Anyway. It's a Sierra they cut the muffler on. Possible. Possible. That is a possibility, yes. It definitely sounds like Flowmaster. It does sound like Flowmaster 40s, dude. Flowmaster 40s through a small block Chevy. That's exactly what that sounds like. A friend of yours had a 73 Corvette. Nice. All right. Any other any other questions about space? First guess is a Dodge, perhaps. If you don't have any other questions, watch this man lift get lifted into the flame trench, or lowered into the flame trench. Yay! See? Woohoo! What's up, dog? We heard you like cranes. So we attached a crane to your crane, so you can crane while you crane. Is this Tom Cruise? No, this is Patrick. Showing your age with that meme. Proudly showing my age with that meme. This is me as a Simpsons character. Why do I look like I just ate chocolate cake? Does Falcon 9 have a flame trench? Yes, it does, Matt. Mm-hmm. All Falcon 9 pads have a trench. Where are the shades? Yeah, where are the shades? What the heck's that about, man? No, it's our crane. Because we play workers, dead scum. Jeez. Why does he have hair? What is this? Is this not hair? Alright? I have it. I just don't have a lot. Alright? Okay? I sold stock. Okay? I sold the hair stock for knowledge. Yeah. You can see the boom flex when the load is reduced. Can you? Let's see. Oh yeah, it's definitely getting some deflection. Oh, dude! Yeah, oh, absolutely. That's cool. No, see, guys, what happens is that because I have so much knowledge up here, the processors run hot, and that burns off hair. It's science. It's boring. Don't worry about it. According to AI, this is what I'll look like at 79. Bro, I look like Ringo Starr. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. That's fine. Tua! Getting a cappuccino. Jeez. What's wrong with my right cheek though? Did I get into a fight or something? Or you look like Ocelot from the MGS series. I'll take that. That's pretty sick. Cursed Stan Lee. It's a picture of you streaming from Mars. Yes. Yes. With age comes watermarks. Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. New NSF video is up. Which one? They have a plethora of videos that are always up. I think we sufficiently covered space news for the day, dudes. Game time? No games this week. Do you know what plethora means? No. Crazy. Guess what, dude? Severe lightning in the Pacific Northwest. Can't wait for that. The space news I just sent you is 2 weeks old. Oh, this. Yeah. I saw this, Trey. One more thing, dudes. One more thing. Check this out. On the 3rd of March, U.S. Air Force uploaded a notice to the Federal Register that it plans to construct 2 rocket landing pads on Johnston Island, a remote unincorporated U.S. territory 700 nautical miles off of Hawaii. This is part of the Rocket Cargo Vanguard program, which aims to deliver supplies anywhere on Earth in 90 minutes or less using SpaceX rockets launched into space and landed back on Earth. Small Island, part of the Johnson Atoll National Wildlife Refuge within the Pacific Islands Heritage Marine National Monument, requires the Pentagon to conduct an environmental impact study. Oh, yeah. They will release the report in early April this year, followed by a 30-day public comment period. Hey, I'm walking here. Huh. Can we read the comments? No, I'm good. I don't want to do that at all. Yeah, I don't want to do that at all. Maybe LS. All right, guys. That's going to do it for space news today, I think. We can already land a Burger King anywhere in the world inside of 24 hours. Now they want to do 90 minutes. Hey, people need their burgers, okay? All right, guys. That's going to do it for me. Thank you very much for watching. Once again, no after hours this week. I am taking time to clean the garage. I will give you periodic updates from space news streams that we do. So tomorrow, don't forget, tomorrow we are going to be doing coverage of Kitten Space Agency. There is a huge town hall tomorrow with Dean, the guy that kind of is overseeing KSA. KSA is the kind of spiritual successor to KSP. So yeah, that's going to take up a lot of time for space news tomorrow. So, well, we aren't doing any games. Tomorrow's space news should be pretty fun. There should be a lot of good stuff. What time? The town hall is at 6:45 p.m. Yeah, 6:45. Thanks for the stream. You learned a couple things today. Yep. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. Aegis Smart with the 43-month resub. Appreciate it. Slightly less hair. And I appreciate all you guys. Thank you for dealing with the truncated schedule. Or, well, condensed. Thank you for dealing with me not streaming as much. I want to get this stuff done. We're making very good progress on the garage. I actually have a workbench now. If you look over there on the left. Just got to get the other workbench ready to go. So, is the town hall going to be on Discord? Town hall will be on Discord, and it will be restreamed here with permission. I talked to them about doing that already. So I got that going for me, which is nice. So yeah, I will see you guys all tomorrow. Thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.